back to the LCS, and this time, for the first time, all our analysts, our casters, and the players are live and in person, baby. Woo!
I'm excited. I can run around. I'm not stuck to my bedroom.
Yeah.
Get down here.
Primal, I didn't think you had legs until this point.
I didn't, actually.
Yeah.
There's probably one
grew
person
them?
out there. There's probably one person out there that just didn't do leg day. They're never on broadcast. They just come back with dinky legs.
The one thing I'll say I missed from my bedroom is my cats. They were always keeping me company. Now I just have you two.
Yeah.
Cool cats.
Yeah.
I miss them.
Rest in peps, the pet aggro that we have enjoyed of times past. But as you can already see, things are looking a little different this summertime for a multitude of reasons. First up, we do have an all-new format, a triple round robin. That does mean each team meets one another, you guessed it, 3 times over the 9 weeks that we have of the regular season action. And don't forget, spring records carry over into summer this time as well. But of course, having a little off-season times mean there's plenty of time for moves to be made off of the Rift, plenty of faces coming into the fray. So I want to know from my analysts, who are you most excited to see today?
I am excited for Abadage. I mean, this guy was a star in LEC, and I think he's going to be a superstar in LCS. This guy is lethal on a variety of picks that I think 100 Thieves has really been sort of lacking in the mid lane. And he has built-in synergy with Closer because they played together in TCL. So really excited for Faker Dage to come out today, and I think 100 Thieves is going to have a really strong split.
I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to talk about a few members here.
Okay.
Immediately just disregarding the question. But like, I'm excited for Danny and Chime. Danny for sure coming in from EG Prodigies. Coming in from, of course, an amateur, skipping that step in Academy and moving up. I thought his performances in Proving Grounds are actually exceptional. So I'm excited to see what he can actually provide here. Chime, I worked with Chime, and I know what he has to offer. Originally coming in as a Bard one-trick, but I think his mechanics on like the champions that he's been playing on that run that he also had in Proving Grounds was amazing. He had some great games with Prismal. And I'm interested in the Golden Guardians lineup now that they have the veteran and solo in the top lane. So I just named 3 people. I'm sorry.
Well, then let me in here. I'm going to go stay in the bot lane, but the biggest news has to be King and the swap with Sven. I mean, it's just an absolutely insane bombshell that drops just before the season starts, and it's big shoes to fill for him, but he should be able to do it. He's been able to play in Academy for a long time now and was really good. There was that little bit of visa issues, but now that he's back, I mean, I expect him to pick up where he left off and have a pretty good performance here in week 1.
A lot of people are excited for King to be coming through today. I just think that, Raz, you spend 1 episode as lane-by-lane host, and you think that you can make your own questions now? What's going on, man?
The 4th answer is going to be, I'm also interested in Afari. I'm just going to keep going on.
He's not even new.
We'll get to, of course, see all of these players as they take to the Rift in their respective games. But hey, we've got a banger to be kicking things off here today. We've got to talk about our first matchup of the day. It's our semifinals rematch between Team Liquid and TSM.
Yeah, I'm immediately interested in this one because of the differing playstyles with both of these teams. With Team Liquid, I think they super focus on the top side of the map. Core JJ, when he roams, he moves up towards Alphari. I feel like a lot of the plays in how Team Liquid, wins and succeeds within their game starts with them. Especially when they look to teamfight, a lot of it happens through their side lane. So, and one of the examples that we see here with the Twisted Fate game, that's going to be on Jensen, who's playing either, towards the opposite side of the map, or just overloading on one side of the map and helping Alphari continue that split push. Meanwhile, if they want a team fight, like I said earlier, if Jensen's on Orianna duty, then we're waiting on Alphari to get side lane pushed out first, then he can join the team. So I think they actually, they never concede a wave in the games in which I'm watching, and they're thriving in.
Yeah, and I think what you pointed out, Raz, is that they have versatility,
yes.
Right? Like, you can have Jensen on these side lane roaming picks. You can have him on the control mages like Orianna. He's even willing to bust out the Veigar, out of nowhere, and he wins games on that pick. So I think TL has multiple ways to win the game.
I think that's kind of in contrast to TSM, at least as we last saw them, where they had kind of defaulted into a team fighting play style. A lot of that came down to PoE being their main playmaker throughout the game. He was on a lot of scaling control mages. They did try to branch out at times with the Lucians and whatnot, but it always felt like it came back to the Oriannas, the Azirs, the Syndras, these kind of standard control mages, and they were pretty good at that, all things considered. Huni was the one who brought most of the spice, it felt like, with things like the Nocturne top, and he was a lot of the early focus, but they really did thrive on team fighting, grouping up, punishing teams with bad Baron setups, and really working that 5v5 and Drake control.
Yeah, and even if both teams are going to be team fighting pretty heavily, From TSM side, they're going to be there first. They're willing to concede waves, overload one side of the map like they did in this example going up in against 100 Thieves. Because you're right. If Huni sees the fight, he's going to
Oh, yeah, you go.
mouth for it. And Sword Art has been instrumental in a lot of these games, either on his Leona, his Nautilus, his Rakan, in how these fights play out. I think he's been a real gem to watch in the later portions of Spring Split.
Core JJ versus Sword Art. You mentioned the impact that a support can have, and that's a matchup that we have actually been tracking since the start of this very season.
It is, and when Sword Art came to NA, Core JJ beat him, and he's like, welcome to LCS, and I think he wants to continue to assert that dominance. You know, ultimately, these are two of the best supports in the league, but they do play a little bit differently. Core JJ is looking more for those 2v kills in lane with tactical, where Sword Art is more looking to roam and unlock his mid and top, and I expect that to repeat here, but overall, I think what we're going to see is the importance of leadership from both of these guys in the context of their squads.
I also think it has to do with the trajectories of the two teams. I mean, Team Liquid looked incredible during the lock-in tournament. TSM, people were calling for heads all over the place. They're like, let's put Hanser in, get rid of Lost. What's the Sword Art guy doing? And so, you know, a lot of those stats, when you look at them, they are kind of suppressed from the early portions of the season where Sword Art was really struggling mechanically. He looked a lot better through the later portions of the season, starting to find his groove on certain champions, busting out even the Pantheon support and stuff. And so I think he'll have a much better time against Core JJ than the stats would necessarily indicate right out of the gate.
We're going to get to see what TSM and Team Liquid get to pull out on the Rift, because we are going to be diving into our first day of summer action. Casters, take it away.
The world is run by lunatics, so who gives a... Let's light it up, let's make a mess, let's coalesce, let's make a fuss. The world is filled with psychopaths, so I wanna jink, I wanna fight, I wanna rage against the machine. They tell me I can't be myself, run myself so I can be. I'm unique, and I do it 7 days of the week. I'm feeling free, but the world, they wanna keep me down. See, I'm a king, I won't let anybody take my crown. Lost in the mosh pit, confident, wanna call God, but he's out of the office. Clickbait shot till we all get nauseous. Amazon boxes looking like coffins, I'm exhausted, but I ain't there yet. Life's a dogfight, baby, come and place your bets. Middle fingers up till the reaper shows up. Middle fingers up till the reaper shows up. Yo.
Thank you, La Tigress, and the LCS is back in the studio finally for
Let's
the start
go!
of summer. High fives all around. Air 5 Azale. Nice. We got the teams behind us. They're really there. That's not a green screen. They are human beings inches away. One of the analysts came up and talked to me a second ago. Thank you, Jack Kaiser. And yes, we are ready to get ourselves into the LCS. We're starting off with a banger. Team Liquid and TSM. This is going to be so exciting. If you guys remember the mid-season showdown, Team Liquid kicking TSM out, you know they want some revenge. Sure. 2 times they beat them in best of 5, sent them to the lower bracket, sent them right out of there, and now it's time to get back up on that horse.
And I'm so excited to see what these teams are actually going to bring out, because, you know, a lot of us have been talking to pros, talking to coaches, trying to get some info on what's going on in the scrims. There is such a variety of things I have been hearing about, you know, people bringing out new picks and new strategies.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with Gwen and Viego enabled, Gwen, everybody said super OP. Viego, slightly less, but still extremely good, especially in your melee matchup. So there's so much that can go on, especially with solo lane picks. I'm definitely excited to see first one go down.
Yeah, I'm excited as well because one of the junglers we've been seeing a fair bit of as well is Fiddlesticks, one of my first mains from like way back when. And we've been seeing some Fiddlesticks jungle there as well. Of course, one of the big things with the start of Summer Split is a couple patches ago, there were some jungle changes. The camps respawn more slowly. That can shake up the meta. We are still seeing Rumble, we are still seeing Udyr, but there's another suite of champions that are showing up right beneath them.
And I think it's going to be really interesting, because if you do have that clear tier of Udyr and Rumble, they may just stay on the ban list, and then you're forcing people to actually bring out some of these new champions, things that we may not have seen yet at MSI. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, especially when you take into account player specialties. To me, Spica and Nidalee always an extra weapon there, for specifically maybe the side of TSM. If we remember how Team Liquid went out of the mid-season showdown, a lot of focus on early ganks on Alphari up towards the top side. So that very well could be a tactic they try and a repeat as well. Santorin doing a little dance on stage. Hell yeah.
I mean, he wasn't there for the last time they beat TSM, right? That was the whole story from playoffs last time around is he wasn't playing the whole time, so in comes replacement.
Armeo.
Yep, Armeo now. And both times it was 3-1 anyway. But yeah, back on stage, back at full power here on the TL side. Of course, TSM themselves had a bit of a slow start. We kind of expected them to go pretty far, but only stopped at 3rd in playoffs. And the other thing to remember here with the Summer Split is, of course, as the LCS comes back, we also have the return of ProView. Of course, that was part way back when, but it's back now as well. Part of this triumphant return, we will be highlighting 1 match per game available for free. Our first free stream will feature 2 masterful playmakers in the bottom lane, Core JJ and Sword Art, for the free run through.
And I am such a big fan of ProView, and I highly recommend people check this out, especially if it's someone playing the role or champion that you are really interested in. You can learn so much by checking out a lot of these pros. It really is a fun alternate experience.
And I love emphasizing fun because some of our greatest memes have also come from ProView. If you remember Wonder pulling up the MS Paint. What is going on here? Well, we're into Champion Select, my friends. And guess what? Varus still a very highly prized AD carry from the bottom side of the map. You get so much lane priority there with it. On the other side, no surprise with Senna. Haven't had recent nerfs to either her or the TK.
I learned fun new info about Varus recently. So did you know, everyone at home, that Varus W has an active? Some people don't.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing though. 30% of Varus players never hit W in a game.
What?
30% of Varuses forget their W has an active. I've played with 2 of them in the last week, by the way.
They were both freak. All right. Renekton going to get banned out here. I am interested to see if jungle is just going to be ignored or if it will be targeted whatsoever. The Lucian ban, somewhat interesting. Knowing that they do have Huni, it could be a flex up towards top side. Alphari is someone who's known for his DP. Gwen gonna get added to the ban list. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm so ready for Gwen, but from everything I've heard from people talking for Scrim, she's just turbo OP there, especially for her top lane. So not gonna show her face. Udyr as well, the de facto frontline early game power, plus still has the speed that you need. Lee Sin immediately locked in for TL, and you're talking about flex picks, Azale. This one could be, but Jensen definitely not one of the more melee heavy mid lane players. So I do expect it to be either Alphari or Santorin with very high weight towards Alphari.
Yeah, it feels like it's probably going to be an Alphari pick, but would be interesting to see if Jensen did want to mix it up. We saw him in spring, kind of pushing towards more different champions, experimenting with the Ahri, the Veigar. They talked about it on the analyst desk. So if TL feels that it is best played mid, they could easily bring that out. Rumble as well is a flex pick, but we're expecting to see it in the jungle here for Spica, though in solo queue can be quite powerful in mid lane.
And I expect this to be pretty common as far as if red side does have to ban the Udyr, not wanting to give it up as first pick, then they on the second half do get to pick up the Rumble. Nocturne, very popular for top lane as well as being able to play in the mid lane. Again, though, there's so many of these melee matchups for either of the solo lanes that can go both ways. I do expect it to be Huni topside though, because TSM already were playing it, even before MSI up there on the top for Tony.
And it looks like TL with the Ezreal Karma, their answer is not to fully engage into the fight, it's a kite back. It's to go for this marksman who is very adept at peeling back from this dive. TSM is likely going to be looking more towards Kai'Sa Nautilus full-on dive comp.
And one of the things is, Karma is one of the best counters to Rumble in a team counter sense. Not as a lane matchup, but the mantra for speed up for your whole team just gets everybody off of Rumble ultimate, plus you have the shield. Also, of course, as you're referring to, watching out for Nocturne diving in definitely can be advantageous here.
And I'm curious if the Karma actually stays down at support. I know Karma top and mid haven't been the most successful, but one of the big values of Ezreal is you are safe in a 1v2 for several minutes at a time so that your support can go roam and go gank mid. Karma ganks are not as good as Nautilus ganks, you know? Like, you'd want, in a lot of cases, a different support to pair with an Ezreal.
And it is interesting because when you were going that route, I thought you weren't talking about roaming, but actually flexing the pick, right? Because we do see Karma sometimes played in the top lane, sometimes played in the mid lane as well. So we have to keep that in mind. But given the tendencies of TL, you're definitely expecting it to go down to Core JJ, them to play a poke-heavy bot lane, try to focus on lane dominance. These guys are an incredibly powerful duo.
Yeah, they are.
Aggressive early picks here from TSM. Definitely a lot of playmaking ability. Rumble, even though Rumble did get a slight nerf to the clear speed, and you feel it early on. It does not clear as fast. Simple as that.
Red, blue, and Gromp.
Exactly. It does not, you know, your first clear is where you really feel it the most. Still is able to join a lot of these long-range plays. Like Nocturne, you know, diving in super deep, trying to pick people off. Rumble Ultimate is very good at, you know, adding that little bit of extra damage or the slow to be able to keep them within Fear Tether range. So I like the possibilities here and the playmaking that TSM is looking for.
I'm curious now, you're seeing Orianna, Xin Zhao drop to the table. Xin Zhao definitely a very strong jungler that I think hadn't gotten enough play, but very, very strong in his own right. You're seeing Nautilus, Leona taken away. Yeah, sure, they're getting rid of the hard engage tanks. Generally speaking, enchanters tend to be a bit weak to hard engage, and it means that Karma's more likely to be down at support, and there's a Rel.
One of my favorite combos with Nocturne, baby. You know this one, Freak. You put the E on Nocturne, and Nocturne all of a sudden, you can snap stuns people, so the Fear Tether is guaranteed. Love it. Very aggressive look here from TSM. It is into, as we mentioned, some defensive capabilities on the side of Team Liquid, though.
Why would you be wasting that tether on Nocturne when you've got a perfectly good Tristana to jump in there?
That's right.
Get it together.
That's not the Malphite player. Whoa, we'll see about that. In this one,
Volibear Silas.
Like the Lax pickup, these are some pretty good ults to steal away here for Silas. See what the last option will be.
Yeah, so Volibear jungle, Lee Sin top, Silas mid. Almost certainly the way you're lining all of these up. Silas blind pick mid. Viego is gonna be the answer to Silas in the mid lane. Power of Evil will be the first LCS player allowed to and picking Viego.
Really, really good into melees. I play a bunch of Viego jungle, but also interviewed a bunch of the mid laners in the LCS. They love this champion into any melee matchup in mid lane because level 1, you just rank Q and it's deceptively long. Be able to get it through minions, poking them down, plus getting the extra passive that you get on it as well. Really, really can be a strong mid lane early presence to play off of. Plus, Silas does need to scale a bit more. So maybe TSM, this could be the linchpin that brings it all together. And you need to kind of build on that.
It can be very difficult to push him out of lane too. Like, this is a resourceless champion who can heal up consistently, utilizing that Q, often rushing towards Blade of the Rune King. Really powerful duelist. TSM clearly wanting to dive to reach that back line. But some tough targets there on the side of TL. You have mobility on the Ezreal. 3 pretty beefy frontliners there as well that are going to be difficult to actually take down.
Always remember as well, Viego, very snowball-y champion. Want to try and concentrate there early. You get some momentum. Then as soon as you get that 1 kill, starting to reset. And the true test of Viego players, you know, and especially since it's had so many bugs, people haven't put that as much time into it, is how well you can play everybody's soul that you pick up.
Yeah, you just mash R. Let's be honest here.
Okay.
You go untargetable, you press R again. Nobody's using those abilities.
Execute him again.
I will say from experience, when a Viego steals a Xin Zhao soul, that is terrifying. He's got like a 1100 range dash afterwards. Like, you're not getting away from that, man. Like, there are some really, really obnoxious ones that you can take over. Also of note, by the way, not going to matter here, but you get your support's Relic Shield. So if you gank bot lane and you kill Leona, you can just like give your AD carry 60 gold and then hop out afterwards. There's a lot of good synergies.
Typical
there.
AD carry brain over here. He's just like, how can Viego give me more gold as the AD carry?
He stole my kill. He's taken my canyon. You better share it with me if you're going to take my canyon, Viego. Well, we are on to the Rift. Here we go, the beginning of the Summer Split. If you did not know the rules changed this year, you carry your record forward. So 12-6 is how they went to the first 18 games, 27 more to go, and then it's playoffs and the chance at winning the LCS title all at once.
This one's going to be so exciting. Interesting to see CoreJJ has gone Spell Thief, so additional mana regen can really be a big injection of gold, but you kind of have to put yourself at risk to do it, and a lot of people would normally go towards Relic Shield, towards Guardian, the more defensive option. He has gone Exhaust here, but he's playing Comet and Spell Thieves. He wants to bully this lane.
I love that point because when you're looking at some of these early possible plays from TSM, well, might have a delayed invade from Team Liquid.
Well, they could get wrapped on, though. TSM's bot lane could come behind them, potentially.
No one else is there. Like, I feel like you don't like
they
the
don't
level
want
1
it,
fight anyway. So yeah, they went for the Q poke. Looks to see if it was in the jungle. Anyone's doing that. Okay, no leash in the bottom side for either team.
Okay, I do want to focus on some of the early plans, though, here that we're setting up from TSM in Champ Select. Because of some of these matchups, you know, there is a lot of focus on can you work off of this Viego level 1 early pressure. You can see he's already trying to push the lane here. Rumble trying to push down towards this bottom triangle of the map. Tristana plus Rel combinations looking for possible all-in threats. Can they actually, you know, work off of the Viego and possible bottom lane presence?
I'm looking for it right now. Top lane is fighting back and forth. Huani feeling comfortable with his Nocturne counter pick. Says, okay, I'm good into Lee Sin. Level 2 for the mid lane now.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup because Lee Sin, traditionally, you want to pick it, you know, as a really strong laner. You want to be able to shove. You want to be able to fight. And while you can get the push with the Emax still, you can't really look for all-ins into the Nocturne because with the Fear Tether, with the Spell Shield to block one of your abilities, it's very difficult to take those extended fights. So it's more about push and move in this type of matchup for Lee Sin.
Yeah, Nocturne always looking to try and Spell Shield your E. And Q plus your passive through the wave does wonders. A Rumble does do sort of a reverse clear here, just starting red and then back up towards top side after taking everything off blue. Yeah. This is going to mean Volibear is going to be the one ending on bottom side and possible Team Liquid pressure.
So this is interesting, right? So the way what basically Spica has done is he wants to play around top lane in this game because he's clearing bottom to top. So when you recall, you're going to start with Gromp up to Wolves, etc., and that's kind of his, you know, generic efficient pathing. Yeah, that ward's going to spot Santorin's would-be gank. That's not going to happen here, but it means that, you know, based on that pathing, we expect TSM to play topside.
And again, as we're looking at this Viego, as this is the new champion finally in the game.
Yeah.
Love it. Well-timed here. Again, I just really want to emphasize how much this does when you get to last pick it. You get to counter pick it into a melee matchup. You've seen this is the 3rd time that PoE has pushed up the wave. And here's the reason that he got that deep ward there, seeing the Volibear, seeing the first attempt at a gank, getting that early information on your opponent jungler really does wonders.
And you guys touched on it earlier, but the ability for this champion to snowball, it's such a difference when you're playing with a winning team versus a losing team for Viego. You get access to these bodies you can pick up, turn into the other champions, and most importantly, reset your ult and get the untargetability during these team fights to become so disruptive and just sustain tank through everything.
I guess since we have some time here in the early lows, we can actually talk about some of the tricks for Viego as well. My favorite one, especially for mid lane Viego, is you cast your Mist on one of the giant wrapping walls on the side, and then you channel your stun as you're out of vision. Wait for yourself to go re-invisible. The camouflage will re-enable on you if you stay in it, and then you can walk up to the edge and throw your stun out of the edge of a camouflage to try and get them by surprise.
It's a nice one. I didn't know that one. Well, right now, Alfari gets to go fight for a ward. Thank you to the Scryer's Bloom from Volibear. Gets to queue back to the minions and keep going.
Ooh,
Equal
they
gold.
want this.
Spica, level 4, looking for a dive. Level 5, hook cross. Nice flash to flash. Is going to get away from the stun. Not going to get much more to that one. Gets the CS.
Yeah, you can do something, you know, on Viego very similar to Vi. Any Vi player is very used to doing this, charging up, you know, Vi's Q and then flashing and using it. Viego charging up the stun, doing a similar thing here.
I mean, you can see the bot lane. You got to look at the CS down there. It's already 14, 15 CS that they were ahead. This is becoming a bit of a problem. Yes, as Karma Ezreal, you have to be worried about a potential all-in, but when they're poked so low, they can never actually look for it. So as long as Spica is being tracked, they got nothing to worry about. And second plate's almost going down.
And
okay. Nice Arcane Shift by Tactical. He's totally safe, and Powered Q puts less than 200 again, and Sword Art doesn't do much for healing. So the bot lane pressure, absolutely incredible.
And this is kind of what I was talking about, why with the matchup, I kind of expected, hey, maybe TSM will have jungle presence on bottom side because a Tristana Rel lane does rely on threatening with that all in. If you don't threaten it, you know, versus a heavy poke duo, double range, Karma Ezreal constantly harassing you, this is these are the ramifications that you're seeing here.
Absolutely.
This CS lead developing.
And especially when you lose control of the side brush,
spell
you lose the
shield.
push, then
not gonna kill him.
you have nowhere to actually hide from this poke, right? If you're just stuck farming under tower, it's pretty rough.
All right, first dragon of the game, no problem. Santorin claims it, 6:05, very early on. So TL pick a duo just for lane control. And I got to point out, by the way, one of the big reasons Ezreal, I think, should be back in the meta, should be considered an S-tier AD carry, is he is absurdly good with the new Divine Sunderer. It does more damage, heals you for more. Ezreal should always be going Divine Sunderer, and he is one of the very best AD carries with that item.
100% agree with you, Freak. And guess what? My second favorite item in the game right now, Muramana. I think that thing is just unbelievably turbo broken. If you could build it on any champion, whatever it works with, you know, jungle players, you play Kayn, play some blue Kayn with it. All of a sudden, your abilities are doing tremendous amounts of damage. Ezreal gets to do both of those. So definitely love the build pass for him. That does mean that you want to focus a lot on your money for Ezreal. Econ for Ezreal is incredibly important because especially the even one item but 2 item power spike is tremendous.
It's worth pointing out that as much as TL are certainly winning the bottom lane, again, CS lead 15, they've got, I believe, 2 plates. The gold is basically equal because, hey, 9 CS lead in the mid lane, 4 CS lead up top, the jungler up at camp right now as well. So we are still in a very close game between these two.
And Spica is critically now 6, so you can expect him to look for some sort of a play with this ultimate, whether it is going down towards that bot lane, trying to use the setup of Sword Art, or going mid lane. He wants to fight.
And another reason that he wants to fight, I love pointing that out, guess what? He's got the Dark Seal. My favorite thing to buy on these AP junglers, it's honestly quite efficient just for a base. And then if you do get a single successful gank off, you can really, really snowball, especially if TSM are looking to try and be proactive.
Upgraded boots there as well. Of course, certainly valuable as a jungler to run around. Worth noting, every big smiteable camp has 20 armor and MR, so Sork Shoes is actually a clear speed increase. You are not just wasting the magic pen compared to, say, like wave clearing in a lane. Bot lane, seeing each other. Core, I think he's sussed out, like, wait, I saw them missing. They might have walked in a try here. That's the kind of play where a lot of players would have just died for free in the fog of war. He's like, wait a second. All right, we see Triss, I can walk through.
It's also interesting to note that Santorin is not just going for Chem Tank, right? He's actually going more of the scrappy build, likely going towards Divine Sunderer himself. Does have the Sheen already, so going to be a lot more damage than you otherwise expect. And if you're trying to dive past this Volibear onto the squishy Karma and Ezreal, like TSM wants to do, well, he can make you pay for that.
And it's one of the champions that can actually utilize it really well, getting a lot of sustain out of it since the healing was also buffed a lot.
Okay, ult's in, ult's away. That's going to be Power Viva living. Ult for ult, not the worst thing ever, but Jensen's cooldown should be shorter.
All right, let's see about this Scuttle Crab, though, here. Jungler face-off. Spica's got his double buffs, though, in his bottom lane. Also, capable of moving up with plenty of CC, so Spica going to be able to run Santorin off of it. Love how, you know, the Smite does 900 damage nowadays after transforming it, as well as being able to take off Scuttle Crab shield. But Spica critically saves it, possibly for this gank here. Looking for a little bit of an opening on TL's bot.
At that point, it actually was uncooled, and he just smited the blue buff on his way down, so couldn't have smited off the shield. I looked at the 2. I was like, I'm curious. It's going to be like way faster if you do this. Like, oh, you can't. Okay, it's fair enough.
It's so nice for champions that couldn't get it off before.
Like Rumble. Rumble needed buffs, obviously.
Rumble. Kha'Zix is definitely one of the best. You actually just one-shot crabs off. You just smite Q it with your isolated Qs. Yeah. All right, let's take a look, though. Volibear always does like to get early action. Hasn't really been able to accomplish you know, anything as far as influencing lanes quite yet in this game. But we are looking still for the first use of some of these big long-range ultimates on the side of TSM. Nocturne ultimate, you know, maybe with teleport coming back up, or with the commitment here to the possible Rift Herald fight. You see the recall from Lost, so TSM would probably want to just avoid this one.
Okay. It's TL with control of everything right now. Their gold actually going their way more and more now. 300 gold lead to Team Liquid. Good job there. The bot lane, 20 CS now the advantage as we see the Kindle Gem come through. Yes, indeed, that is the Divine Sunderer build path, who wasn't expecting anything else, but worth just double-checking that is indeed what he's going for, so that's obviously going to be a strong build down there. Everfrost coming through for Jensen, and Blade of the Rune King first item for Power of Evil across the mid lanes.
It does feel like this first attempt for TSM is going to be very important. You know, they are playing A little bit of a less traditional comp here, very heavy on the dive, relatively low range overall. It is the 4 melee champions, so these comps tend to struggle in the later stages, especially reaching someone like the Ezreal when you're protected by that Karma. Exhaust is there too. So I do think TSM is going to have to kind of pick their moment. It's just a question of when do they want to fight? Are they okay giving up the next dragon? Do they wait till number 3? Or are they ready to go now?
And whenever you do have those strengths and weaknesses in your composition, so much does pivot on the support player here. Sword Art trying to set up, because TSM have loads of damage. They are not lacking in damage in any aspect of it, and so a lot of it is on Sword Art, getting that big setup for them so they can get the first kill to reset Viego and try and snowball that fight. Dragon, though, number 2, will be picked up without contest here. Really like how they also deeply warded through the red jungle pre-Dragon here. Good Dragon setup from TSM. And you saw Huni as well. If you pay attention to the minimap, Nocturne hovering away, very far away from Lee Sin, so he can't get interrupted. The possible Nocturne ultimate plus teleport is always very scary coming from top laners, because you can shut off the lights, not allow your opponent to answer with their own teleport.
You mentioned Engage a little while ago. I'm interested to see that Sword Art has rushed for the cooldown boots, actually. I feel like you don't commonly see that on tanks, but it's going to give him way more flashes. Obviously, Engage tools on Rel are not that strong normally.
Exactly, and he knows that they're going to be very reliant on him setting up the fight, right? He's got to find that perfect engage, snap everyone together, lock them into the equalizer. Rumble comes over top, Viego comes over top, and everything can go your way off that perfect engage.
Meanwhile, I love what Team Liquid are doing here. Slow and steady on the bottom side. Tactical and Core JJ have been mining gold here. They actually use the Rift turret as well on top of this turret. So there's only a single plate left on the bottom side.
Of note, though, Core JJ has not earned gold very well. Sword Art's the one who's actually turned over his support item. His Sightstone's up. Core JJ's still on tier 1, so despite the lane pressure, he hasn't earned much gold on Karma.
Yeah, and that tells me that he's just a little bit hesitant to actually step into engage range. Of course, he will eventually get that 1k gold, so it's not the end of the world, and maybe just wanted it for the mana regen, but it is the trade-off, right? You go Relic Shield, you get it guaranteed. If you go Spell Thieves, you've got to put yourself in danger to farm that gold.
Yep, end of the day, finally gets it now. Yeah, one of the upsides of Spell Thieves is that if it's a good matchup, you just get the gold way faster. You can get like a 13-minute tier 3. Like, it's actually absurd. 13 minutes tier 2. Like, as you mentioned, yeah, he's had to be a bit more fearful, hasn't been able to just chain out of the turret. So, okay, he's the one kind of on the downside here. Divine Sunderer done for Ezreal. Huni pushing topside, gets plate number 1, and is there going to be a backstab? Because Rumble's coming in behind him.
Yeah, Alfari's here, but
Ult's back, flashes away, but they're still going to just land CC. Rumble over the top, going to force him away because here comes the teleport as well. Kick to disengage. They should be safe unless PoE pulls a magic trick out of his hat, and they will not. Couple of cooldowns burning the side, but no kills.
And you always, when you have a play like this, have to look at the opposite side of the map, because that frees up Jensen on the Sylas. And you see the roam from Jensen. This is very good play down to the 1 turret tower here. They can either dive Lost or push him out.
4 seconds to get the plate. They're not going to get it. Instead, it's going to be the jump forward. The heal is burned, and the auto. A solo kill, first blood lost. Show him how it's done. But now he's got to run away, and he will get shut down in the end.
Oh, what an outplay there from Lost. Keeps the tower alive, clears out the wave, and Tactical had the moment of hesitation. Do I try to finish the tower? Do I go for the kill? He kind of split the difference and ended up paying for it.
So big from Lost here. A player that so many people have been looking at on TSM, coming in, filling in double lift shoes. And in that situation, there is only one way out, Azael. You gotta fight your way out. He does exactly that.
Charge!
Goes right at Tactical. Shows him how the Malphite Tristana is supposed to be played. Right in on his face. Gets the first blood. Just honestly well played here. He sees, he knows what's coming because you see that control ward up on the opposite side. So Tactical taking 3 turret shots. And Lost is like, you know what? I'm right in there. Perfect. This is my way out. We'll blow down the door. He gets the first blood. Yes, he dies in a blaze of glory, but first blood acquired.
Well, and I love that he actually used the explosive shot on the minion wave, right? I think in a lot of situations, people would have used that on the enemy champion, realizing that they're going to be into this fight. Instead, quick thinking immediately clears out the wave and makes Tactical take way more damage from the tower than he would have from the explosive shot.
Yeah, it's really worth, the quick thinking there, because you saw, as soon as he saw with that ward, Sylas coming over, immediate. He's like, all right, this has got to be my only escape plan.
Mythos across for the top laners. Stride Breaker as expected here for Nocturne, as he just needs to make sure he can chase things down. Gore Drinker, the more standard option for Lee Sin, though you can go different directions in both those cases. Either way, we are items across. Divine Sunder, yes, indeed, is in for Volibear. That is definitely one of the items of the patch. Certainly very, very strong. It's getting people off of Chem Tank in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Power of Evil is going kind of the more defensive option. He's going Shield Bow here. This is very much the Drain Tank style. You know, a lot of times you do see more offensive options here with the Mythic. And going more into the Blade of the Rune King on hit style, but this is going to allow him to scrap, and he's going to be fighting against a lot of melee champions, the Lee Sin, the Volley, the Silas, and just looking to straight up drain tank.
Yeah, might be for competitive, you know, the extra shield allowing him to survive. Team Liquid first position inside the river, though, and that's a stolen Rumble ult.
Couple ults over the top, flash away from Sword Art. Nocturne ult turns off the lights, the TP coming down as well. Will he find a useful target? Jumps in at the Lee Sin. Of course, pretty tanky, though, overall. Not going to mean much. Sword Art hits the back line, equalizer over the top, locking him down. That's a bunch of damage. 2 for 0 so far to TSM. Looking at the third as Lost jumps in. Can't quite find the kill, but they're still on the chase. It's a 3-0 to start, or a 2-0 to start, I should say, as it's still TL running for the hills, running for their base. They will live. But TSM take the fight. They take the dragon.
And the critical aspects we were looking at for TSM's composition, Freak, right on point. They use the Nocturne ultimate. They kite back under the cover of darkness. And then, as soon as the teleport completes, they go right in. And Sword Art on the Rel, the one who had to lock them in place for the Rumble ultimate. Spica is able to get his off there. And TSM are able to get Dragon number 2. Well kited for the initial engage from Team Liquid, as they were the first ones into the river here.
They were, right? They're looking for this initial play. TSM back it up. They kite out the equalizer, and Huni arrives with the TP, goes immediately in, and then Sword Art from the brush, snapping them all together. Equalizer layered over top.
Burns them all down there. You can see Rumble shining here as Speak is able to chase him off. He's not even level 11 yet, but he's able to get his Flame Spitter going, got the overheat on top of the ultimate, just the barbecue in full effect.
All right, well, TSM's barbecue's got them off to a good start in summer, honestly. 700 gold lead now as well, up to the Dragon. Gonna be a while till Soul, sure, but it's feeling good. Riftmaker has come through for Spica, so he's gonna feel good. That's a change from Night Harvester that we saw so much in the MSI for the most part. And Mythics are done almost across the board. Waiting to see now if, as time goes on, Core's shields can make that equalizer look a bit better.
Now, this last fight also makes you think about the flank angles for Team Liquid, because that was a straight up trying to just run down TSM. And yet, if you look at their front line, it benefits so much from getting flanks. You know, Lee Sin highlight plays, always coming from Warthog, flashes.
Ooh, TP coming in.
Teleport might be a good one here on to BOE. This is looking rough for him.
How fast can he walk? Not easily. This Cloud's not going to do anything to really get him away from the vision these guys have. Kick back, shield bow popped. How good's life still going to be? Not that strong. Jensen finds himself the kill. Good help from Alfari, but Herald and a turret dying on the other side of the map.
Exactly. It hardly even feels worthwhile. You get the 1 kill. We'll see if they can get more here in the mid lane. But if you're giving over a tower and the Herald for just the 1 kill, TSM's going to be really happy about this. And they will be able to defend mid here. We'll see if they want to look for an engage of their own.
Yeah, the best they can do is poke. Honestly, their engage tools are Volibear running at you and Lee Sin acrobatics, maybe. But otherwise, hard engage is... I mean, Jensen could take Rel Ultimate. Like, yeah, like you kind of, but like none of those are as good of tools as just Sword Art's kit.
I like how you always want to leave the door open, though. Hey, Lee Sin might do a crazy backflip over here.
Yeah,
Watch out, Warthog into flash.
I've seen that. Fudge did it.
Let's keep our eyes open there. Jensen as well on the Silas. We've seen him repeatedly steal this Rumble ultimate, which is a very good team fighting ultimate if you can get the engage or the flank from one of your other teammates. If you can't, maybe he actually switches it up, steals a Nocturne ultimate, or even looking for a Rel ultimate to try and take that mantle on himself. It depends on how Team Liquid are actually able to control some of the vision and actually get those possible angles.
Yeah, I think the Nocturne ult situationally can be really powerful, right? If Huni is going to be your TP, if he's out in the side lane and you can get a hold of that Nocturne ultimate, you delay the global response from coming in if you want to start off a play of your own. So we'll see if he can find a situation for that. But for now, it just feels like we're heading towards a collision course for this next Dragon, right? TSM have gotten 2 straight. TL is going to want to put a stop to this Infernal Soul stacking.
Attempted red steal, going to be claimed by Spica. No smite required. I believe it was down for a second anyway. Regardless, walking back, gonna look for some chickens. You know, again, more barbecuing. It's a good flavor as the mid lane wave gets hit with some spells.
And I want to highlight the timing of this push from TSM. There's a minute and 20 seconds left on the Dragon, so what they want to do here is immediately take away the defenses of Team Liquid before Dragon setup. They have a full minute now to actually get their recalls off, reset with control wards. Now the mid tower is down, so they can push in, get their control wards here, and make sure, hey, there's not going to be a Lee Sin backflip behind us. There's not going to be, you know, these crazy angles for Team Liquid to get in. So this preparation, I think, even though nobody dies here in that play, the timing and choice there from you know, TSM to utilize that Rift Trailed was quite good.
And now TL does not have the bastion of safety that is your mid lane tier 1. There's more opportunities and for flanks of their own and for plays of their own. Lost here though.
Gets the chain, forces the flash, lost ults to get away. He's gonna live, sure, but a nice acrobatics there. A good start from Jensen.
I mean, you lose your flash for pretty much nothing. He just straight up walked into range of Jensen there, gets his rocket jump interrupted. Now he doesn't have it.
Knocks it over the top, hits Ezreal, has to bring the flash to get away, was afraid of being feared off. That is Stride Breaker at work, and now Volibear Santorin flashing to get away as well, but here comes Rel, Sword Art starts it off. Equalizer finally able to be cast. 1 for 1 so far though, as he's already picked up one. PoE side is now, he is Santorin. That is not actually the best champion to be right now, so ults right back out. That's now gonna be on cooldown. 1 for 1, I do believe.
Yeah, it was interesting because TSM saw Jensen finish his recall there, and so that's why they pounced on it. But Team Liquid turning it around, getting the 1 for 1. Dragon burning quickly, Freak.
Looking to attempt it, no smite available. Easy grab for Spica, making it their 3rd Dragon. But the re-engage, is it good? A couple of bits of damage come through from Tactical, but he's been slowed down. That means there's not much more to be had. Are they going to jump the wall? Looks like they're afraid, a little gun shy. Health bar so low on TSM. And they know, right? They're throwing the skill shots over. Is someone coming around?
They're chasing. I mean, Alphari wouldn't be still going if they weren't chasing.
Here we go. They've stolen an ultimate. Rumble over the top does not catch much, but it does make Spica burn the Zonias. Karma puts on the shield, puts on the haste. It's time to run away. Zonia's active is all they get, and oh, Tactical. Dangerously low. Thankfully has a shield, and able to survive the explosive charge.
TSM should be able to get a nice reset off of this. Yellstar, you know, is able to revive and get back to them, so full safety there. Spica's stopwatch, well used to turn this one around. Let's go way back, though, to the initiation. This was after they saw the recall complete from Jensen from the Sylas, so that's why TSM went for this.
Exactly. I mean, both flashes were forced off the AD. Santorin did buy a lot of time there with his stopwatch, would have otherwise gone down immediately. It is the trade of kills, but the critical fact was TSM killed the opposing jungler. They only lost their support, so they guarantee the Dragon are now at soul point. And when you're playing these dive comps, Infernal Soul is so incredible because the shields are not going to save you when the damage gets too high.
Yeah, if you one-shot him and he can't hit the button in time, or you're not in range of the Karma, sorry, it's too late. You can't shield it any later. So that window gets closed a little bit, and that's going to be something to watch for, absolutely. And especially without any real tanks on the team. Obviously, both Alphari and Santorin building more fighter than anything else. 140 CS Volibear at 23 minutes is not exactly rich, so he is easy to kill for the mages on the team. Mostly just the Rumble, to be honest. Zoni is now done, so stopwatch that got broken. That's, you know, back and fully repaired. Good repair service, and now we wait for the mid game to move forward. 3 minutes till Dragon Soul.
Yeah, honestly, I think Spica's a great one to highlight for TSM because the Rumble ultimates have been on point thus far, and it's definitely been a question. How much time has each jungler put in on some of the newer jungle champions here? Spica seems like he always is able to pick them up quickly and really provides that versatility that this team looks for. Now he's got 5 stacks on top of his seal as well, and chasing through the jungle.
Stun lands, but it doesn't mean all that much. Honestly, CoreJJ even saves the mantra. Doesn't even bother going for the bigger shield.
Yeah, I
just pops really is active.
Don't love the equalizer. I mean, even if you want to go towards the Baron, it's almost like a poke equalizer. But the Viego stun is not going to lock you down long enough to really get good value there. So now there is a window of opportunity here for TL where they can play more confidently, move forward, try to pressure this tower because TSM's team fight is so much weaker without the equalizer.
Team Liquid constantly spending globals to check out the Baron Pit. We saw the Ezreal a while ago. Blue Trinket now used as well. They got a second one, and they have True Shot Barrage back up in about 10 seconds, so they're not going to be too worried about Baron sneaks, but it has shown TSM have been the ones to own that part of the river. Ultimately going to have to walk away yet again.
Continuing on the Rumble too, though, I do really love, especially with the recent buffs on Riftmaker, you know, he has gone with the Conqueror, so there's a lot of actual healing if he can make use of some of the time where he can deal damage. If you get chucked out like that, though, makes it very dangerous to be able to get into position to do some of that damage and get your life back.
And I think when you're looking at, you know, 3 people with Conqueror, you're looking at innate lifesteal as well for Lost, double lifesteal items for PoE. You need some healing cut, right? And I'm not really seeing anything over on the TL side just yet. I want to see an Executioner or something in there.
Yeah, I think Core tries to go towards the Legendary for it now. The engage top side, big damage onto Huni. Maybe bit off more than he can chew. Equalizer pretty much perfect. Nocturnal stolen and gets him with his own medicine. Re-engage comes across. Jensen burns a W, pops the Zonius, has another W, keels right back up. But the ulti is enough to execute. Now PoE can be on the chase. You thought Viego was toxic? Have it when he's Silas half the time. As it's time to go back in though. TL flash forward, 1 auto attack. That's enough to shut down Rumble. No more tools left for damage. Centron walking away. Here comes Tristana. Lost on the chase, finds the kill on Tactical. The resets keep going in. They've got a Volibear now as well, and Sword Art is on the chase. He flashes in, flings him back, finds the stun, a double kill for Power of Evil.
That's what you've been waiting for! Viego has made it to pro play, baby! The resets keep on coming through for PoE, and those team fights are just so fun to watch. When they get the kill onto Ezreal, that is such a critical soul to steal, because then you get the Arcane shift forward as well, and you saw PoE, no hesitation there. That's going to be big rewards for TSM.
Yeah, swapping through them one after another. That is the Viego dream. You're piling in, you're getting the kills, and Sorter had so much confidence with the re-engage after Spica had been pushed out of that fight. TSM, they get the big team fight win. They get the Baron. Let's see it one more time.
Okay, so this is the initiation, and Team Liquid, Jensen here, as well as Santorin, immediately focusing on Huni, and they buy a lot of time as well. Stopwatch coming through here to wait for Alphari's teleport actually looks pretty decent for them, but then PoE gets his first kill. We don't get to see it because guess what? That's Infernal Soul on top of the Baron. TSM have so much power, Freak. They're going to come running straight through looking for that TL base.
They're going to get a lot done here. I feel like at this point, they've still got plenty of time left for the Red Bull Baron power play. That's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Infernal Soul going to make the team fights easy. TSM are in such a good spot.
That last team fight was so fun to watch, but I really love how it illustrates how careful you have to be as a threat, as a carry for the opposing team in giving up a vulnerability. If you flash forward on Ezreal, if you give up that soul, that is going to be so dangerous. You know, for a Viego team to pick up. But very well done by TSM to get those resets for him, and now they get to reap the rewards.
All right, mid lane tier 2 falls. Gold lead up to now 5, almost 6,000. It is 6 if you round, and we'll see what turret's next. Looks like top lane maybe.
Yep, you can see the pings up towards that top side. They want to steal away the jungle, get all the waves pushing in their direction, and really expand the gold lead. This feels more like a Baron, where you're trying to just extend the advantage, and less like you are really going for the throat and trying to end the game here.
El Centurion tries to run forward, of course. Not getting a whole lot done with that one. Easy rock jump away. Lost feels totally safe. And they can try yet again. Top lane now being pushed in by Huni. Nice sidestep there. Doesn't get by True Shot Barrage. Blue is attempted. It's wanted. It's claimed. What about the re-engage, though? Equalizer. Lights out as well. Paranoia. Zonya's going to immune some of the fear, but not all of it. Easy second stun. No. Jumps back. Gets attacked. Should just live, but the turrets are under fire. Top lane tier 2 is gone.
I was a little bit surprised Yellowstar doesn't try and ult out of that. Maybe it's on cooldown. I can barely see.
Sword Art, you mean?
Barely, yeah, Sword Art. Barely see the screen there. Don't know if he would have been able to suck him in, but regardless, they get the tower afterwards and a bunch of rewards. You already see almost 4,000 gold off that Baron power play, even though they don't lock up any more kills.
Bit more jungle control, and we still wait for everything to tick down. 4 minutes to go on Elder Dragon. A fairly similar time for Baron, honestly. As Infinity Edge comes through for Lost, he's huge on 3 items. That's going to feel good. Tactical actually moving towards Frozen Heart. Keep in mind, the range of that aura is 700, so he's almost always going to be in range of affecting Huni and PoE and all these people, but that is just getting a little bit more max mana to make sure he's got a little bit more Q damage. It's very durable.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like he's trying to just survive the dive, right? Viego, Nocturne, Tristana, everyone piling in on top of you, feeling the pressure from that, going a bit more of a defensive option here, and PoE wrapping around on Jensen, who does not have his Zonias.
But not going to be attacked any further. PoE did not land the stun on the dash forward, so okay, nothing else to be had. Off we go. Hooray doing zone, by the way, also done for the Viego, one of the other items that got buffed in the recent patch. So yeah, frontline looks good if you're not taking magic damage.
It is kind of scary to dive this Team Liquid composition as well because they do have a lot of delay and sustain on their team. So TSM definitely hesitant here. They don't want to risk the game, even though they have a lot of damage, a lot of power here. Nobody is super tanky to be able to tank these towers. So they're just boxing Team Liquid in. What you want to do is deny them any extra gold here. They're mining all of these jungle camps, trying to increase the time here that Team Liquid have to stay boxed up and don't have a lot of options available.
All right, mid lane under fire, 4 shots in, down the half health from the turret, still willing to siege. Bit of Ezreal poke puts Sword at half HP, but they're gonna be fine. Wave cleared out, turret at 1/3, and an easy step back for TSM. 2 minutes to go to the next objective.
Well, we'll see exactly where TL will move forward to fight. It does feel like it's likely going to have to be at Baron, at Elder. If you give up one, it often feels like you're going to be losing the other in this position, which may just be a bit too much. They're going in, though.
Trying again, they find the stun, very nearly killing off Core JJ, but he lives. The siege then continue, though, as it's a 5v4 to push it down. Ezreal not quite spell shielded by Huni. Lights go out. Is there even an engage, though? It's going to be tough. Okay, it's the ult away for PoE, but you are taking this fight without Core JJ around. This can be dangerous. They still get the shutdown. They knock down Sword Art, and looks like the re-engage might still happen. Alfari kicks him over the wall. Volibear flash to chase. They find the second kill. Just what TL needed to get themselves back into the game.
Let's see if they can actually push much on this, though, because they've been boxed up for so long by TSM. They've got all waves pushing against them. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the Elder Dragon. There's 1 minute left on the Baron. So, yes, it's really big to get some kills, get some gold back for yourselves. But because the map has been controlled for so long, there's not a lot of extra objectives to grab.
Absolutely not, but at the very least, they will have time to get the waves going, hopefully get some vision over on their side to try to look for that fight. Here it is one more time. Jensen going in, really well-timed stun from Sword Art, but he goes down immediately, and then Alfari just sees the angle. And when I initially saw this kick go through over to the Raptors pit, I was like, it's not going to work out, is it? But Santorin, no hesitation, flashes over, Jensen chains over the wall, the Q comes through from Alfari, works out very well.
Yeah, that flash also kind of doubled for Santorin. He got over to get the kill, also got away from PoE, who was charging up the stun there on Viego. He's out of there as well.
Okay, well, we still got this game state of 5,000 gold with a Dragon Soul. That is TSM's lead. They are very much in control. They're going to the top river, but they don't own all of the wards. There's a decent set of vision for TL, which means they can surmise some of this. They don't know for sure. They know Baron spawns right now. And indeed, True Shot Barrage hits him for a bit of damage. So it's time to go for the team fight. 7k health already. Alfari walking up. They got to get in there pronto. 2,500 equals over the top. Here comes the team fight. They're going to get off the Baron and take the battle instead. Volibear dives in towards the backline. Rel catches on to 4. And it's time for the backline to die. TL are running away for their lives. Ult comes in. Huni will not fall. Tactical, though, knocks down Sword Art. But nowhere for Jensen to go. Has to flash and dash, get away. Does live. Huni not going to channel the recall. Finally does go back for it. 4v4 on the map. Somehow TL get away with a 1-for-1 against 5k gold and an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, and will someone be willing to actually start up Elder here? It looks like TL want to reset, but that does give TSM an in, and they're actually TPing for this. Huni is trying to get behind these TL members.
Okay, Nocturnal is down, so is the Flash. Alfari Jensen TPing right back in. Scuttle actually goes to Team Liquid, making that easier for them. Tactical feels safe to jump in, look for a Q, doesn't find it, but we are going to be into a 4-on-4 with no smite on Team Liquid. It's a 90-10 at worst, bit of damage towards Huni, stays alive. In the back line, Alfari gets a kick, but not much more. Flash to safety, but may have just lost his life. He's running low, burns a stopwatch. How about the re-engage? How good's it gonna look? Gets a shield, still an equalizer, gets some zoning tools as Santorin has respawned, but so has Sword Art. We know he's coming from the top right, he's coming from flank angle, so TL moves off to the left, gets away from that one. Lee Sin now pushing into the mid lane. Only 2 turrets taken the entire game so far for TL. Looking to get a third maybe at some point.
So much can be won and lost here off the poke from Tactical. Ezreal with red buff has been able to scale extremely well to this point. You see Tactical trying to play a very offensive look here through the river to gain some sort of advantage, chunk somebody down for on the side of TSM.
Remember, levels don't matter. Smite is just 900 flat. Here comes the dive yet again. Rel plus Nocturne finds a bit. Huni dived upon, gets killed. Big shield, traded 1 for 1. Both top laners are dead. Hear about the re-engage. Centauran down to 800. Dive in, comes across. Shield pop, the ulti. He's going to die before he lands. Big damage out of Lost, and now suddenly they've got to win a 3v4. Lost jumps
so
backwards.
low.
Health bars are low. Is the fight going to be good enough, though? PoE dropped low. 1k health. There's the dragon, and it's now too late to win the fight anymore. They've got to get away from the Elder Dragon.
Tactical just couldn't get in and actually finish off those kills. There were so many low health bars on the side of TSM. You almost feel like maybe they should have just risked it, try to go in for it, because with the Elder Dragon buff, TSM is surely going to get the Baron.
Again, we're coming back to so much healing on the side of TSM. Really need some grievous wounds being applied on some of those targets so they can't, get that healing right back up. PoE here, right back out, over to the Baron, and TSM aren't going to stop with that.
Blue Trinket spots it, but they're ready to go for this fight. And yeah, all the important champions basically have the Elder Dragon buff on. You can see the map movements in the minimap in the bottom right corner. TL are not even interested at looking at Baron. They confirmed it was happening, said, okay, it's yours, touche, we'll see you later. Only a minute 40 left on Elder Dragon, so maybe they can withstand some of that, but this Baron siege will still be very scary.
I mean, this is as strong as TSM gets. You have the Infernal Soul, you have the Baron, you have the Elder. You want to end the game now. Pretty much any fight you can take is going to be a good one over on their side. So it's going to be up to TL to wave clear and decide how much are we willing to give. Are we willing to give 2 inhibs? Are we willing to give 3 inhibs? When do we take that fight?
Well, they're diving in now. That's going to be an easy inhibitor given away, but the rest of it might be a bit more difficult. Now, top lane's in a decent spot, but bot lane is not. And waiting on Elder Dragon. 1 minute left on that. That's kind of the buff that makes you never take a fight. Baron itself is not so many combat stats you can't win a battle. Clearly we've seen TL fight them close. But for the next 50 seconds, they really can't contest much. They can wave clear, even that's a bit slow.
Yeah, Tactical again, once you can see him trying to do something with the poke.
They find the stun, they find some damage. Equalizers, big damage as well. Shields come across, not going to be much more. Out they go, but that is going to be the inhibitor lost for sure. Still 40 seconds on Elder Dragon, but that's going to be TSM backing up. They don't care about Nexus turrets.
I like the aggressive move there from TSM. Don't waste any time. Drop the Nocturne ult, drop the Rumble ult, push TL off the tower, take the second inhibitor, and now look to pressure that bot lane. They shouldn't be able to get anything more done with this Elder, but they'll still have the Baron buff, still have Infernal Soul, and 2 lanes of supers.
And remember that we are carrying over our spring split records to the summer split. Everything is put together. TSM tied there with Team Liquid. This would put them up alone in second place there, tying them with C9 until their later game of the day. So definitely a meaningful one at that.
And here we go, looking to get some meaning out of the bot lane as we've got 1:12 left on the Red Bull Baron. That's almost certainly going to be the 3rd inhibitor. It's more fightable, as well, not quite going to land. Nice try, though. Huni gives the thumbs up. Yeah, it's mine. Should be the inhibitor dying, depending on how hard TL fight for this one. The wave clear again can be mediocre. Nocturnal, Rumble ult, will they dive? No, just to push them back, but that's enough to kill off the turret. So now, if you can't fight for that one, do you take the next fight? With 2 ults down, maybe you have a chance, but Centauran's on a half HP and can no longer reliably engage.
And it's just so difficult. You look at the mini-map, supers are getting close to the TL base in the mid lane. They're pushing up at the top lane. So TSM doesn't need to rush it. Play this out slow, claim the 3rd inhib, and the game gets so hard from there.
But down 2 ults means they're not really willing to team fight anymore. On the TSM side, with Karma Shield, the health bars are fine for TL, so just using minions for Siege means they will not get the last inhibitor. And the fact that they're afraid of no turret with Baron speaks some volumes towards TSM state.
Yeah, I mean, Lost got chunked to 50% here. Now life stealing up.
Huni dropped fairly low, gets the Sterix popped, ulti comes across, puts it down to 500, does not have a lot of good ways to heal, but he does have TP and a Baron recall to get right back to base. Crucially, only 3 seconds left of the Baron buff.
Man, Tactical is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. He is poking them out constantly, trying to threaten them, but TSM is pushing in. The Nexus towers are under threat. They're looking for this 3rd inhib still.
Jensen's peeling away, they know this, they know they can take that fight. Power of Evil, tanky enough, Nocturne comes in, going for the dive yet again, they find a couple of stuns, that's big damage on the core JJ. How about the re-engage? They're right in front of the Rumble. The Rumble of the Nexus, and there we go. Hooney's gonna drop for one. Guardian Angel gonna be popped for a second. A good fight so far. A shutdown comes in for Tactical. He's staying alive so far. They're looking pretty good on this one, 5v3, but can the disengage work? CoreJJ stays alive. Alfari at 50 health. A big shield for Sword Art, but it's time to shut them down. The kills coming through so fast. One man left alive.
And they do it! Team Liquid defend their base at the last second here. One inhibitor left. Tactical just moving deep into that team fight. Ezreal coming into the back lines, baby. And TSM, they can't get that single kill. The one kill they need for PoE to get the reset.
I mean, that was huge, and Alfari set so much of it up, getting lost incredibly low, and with the Tristana push out of the fight, it allowed Tactical to fly forward. And they are on the push here now, still 30 seconds on Spica, because they didn't have the waves going their way. They will collect gold, they won't collect much more, but watch Alfari in this. When he gets back in onto Lost, kicking him out of the jump, being able to flash on him, get him incredibly low, and then the follow-up comes through to finish him off.
And while he's taking down the enemy AD carry, Hooney's just getting pelted with damage. So 2 kills early on for Team Liquid, and there's so many extra answers that they have. Alfari with the GA got back up, gets back out with maybe 20 HP there at the end.
More than 0.
Yeah, exactly. Positive number of HP, and Team Liquid don't drop a champion here in their defense.
And let's be real. Oh, I love this, by the way, CoreJJ. Yes, the item is outstanding. The new Wardstone is very, very good. If you're level 13 on a support, buy the new Wardstone. It is always good for you. Just FYI, free info, always buy it. Tactical, of course, very durable now. On the Ezreal, as we mentioned, Frozen Heart is done, Guardian Angel is done, Divine Sunder in the inventory, but Elder Dragon is being hit, so can TL win this fight? 6k health. When does the battle begin? Huge set of CC from Sword Art, not anywhere to go. Tactical only has armor, and he burns down to the Rumble. Guardian Angel pop. Can he get away, though? Centauran barely will live. 1 for 0 so far. Zonia's pop. 2 for 0 so far. PoE can't do enough damage. Sword Art, can he be chased down? Lee Sin Q's going to land. They get the shield, though, and they knock down the top laner. Alfari going to lose as well. 2 kills in for Spica. TSM turn around that fight from their jungle.
And Lost is still there. They're actually going towards bot lane. They want to threaten the game-ending play. There's no Baron recall here, but TL are resetting, and if you see the reset, then you go to Elder yourself here. So it's becoming this little bit of a game of chess.
As ult spots, Fog of War is the one difficulty. With chess, you know where the pleases are. This is Stratego, and right now TSM doing a whole lot better.
It looks like they have Tactical going up for maybe a red buff or something up there by the Baron, with 2 members of Team Liquid recalling to defend the base. With the inhibitors being exposed, they give up the Elder Dragon. TSM now will have Elder number 2 for second round of a possible Baron fight. Look at this, the teleport's available there for Power of Evo. Hooney's is still on a low cooldown, but it looks like Alfari will have to walk his way over as well.
And TSM clearly are still in the advantage as far as map state, as far as the state of the base. They have the Infernal Soul, but even with these super buffs, they're really struggling to end the game. As Israel has gotten more and more durable, it is so difficult to actually deal with Tactical, and Tactical is playing these fights so aggressively, stepping forward, looking to poke you out, daring you to dive onto him. And though they forced out the GA in the last fight, they haven't been able to crush through and end the game.
Exactly. The Guardian Angel was so critical in the last fight because that was a well-executed dive onto Tactical, but they can't kill him twice. They only have enough juice here with Nocturne, with Rel combination, Rumble Ultimate to be able to kill him once. Now with the Guardian Angel not being available for Tactical in round 2, and having both of the Uber buffs here on the side of TSM, they're coming once again to try and finish that job.
The front line's looking pretty good on the TSM side, of course. You've got the Zonia's, of course, done for a while, but Randuin plus Spirit Visage in for Viego. Zonia's is done here for Sword Art's Rel as well, so can even immune even more damage. And now we see the next siege. Inhibitors are back up, but it's Elder and Baron yet again. Elder on for a minute, Red Bull Baron for 220. And now we get to see this siege play out. Nocturnal dives in, they find the stun, they force the flash away, and Rel finds 2. Frontline dropping soon. Goodbye to Alfari. No, he gets the shield, and he still drops. He still dies. 1 for 0. Tactical finds the chase in for a kill. Jensen needs his Zonias, but he's stunned up. He cannot do anything but be feared and die. And it's time for TSM to siege. Tactical will get attacked. He will almost certainly drop. And yes, that is a 1,000 gold shutdown down it goes to Sword Art for claiming the last hit, and the rest of the team is surely to drop. It is Core JJ against the world. TSM worked as hard as they possibly could for it, but they will knock down the Nexus, and they will get revenge on Team Liquid.
TSM and the boys of Summer, they open up Summer with a victory over Team Liquid, getting some revenge for themselves after the midseason showdown, but more critically, one of those very, very hard-fought wins over a top-of-the-table team, moving them up into tying for first with Cloud9.
And I love that they brought out a very different look here right off the bat. Heavy engage, looking for the dive, aggressive options here for TSM to kick it off in Summer. And man, does it feel good to be back.
Yeah! We got them right there. I can look over. It's like, oh, I see them on the screen. They're bowing. Wait, that's right over. Oh, hi, it's those guys. Nice.
I gave him a wave because usually they wave to the crowd, but there's no crowd here, so I'm like, yeah,
We're in the crowd now,
We'll
baby.
just wave to them. That'll be the camera shot. It's over us looking backwards, and you'll just see my bald spot. It'll be great. Azale's got just that. Either way, TL, I don't know what that was. TL, unfortunate. After the long break, they fell in Game 5 of the LCS Finals. They got to watch MSI from home. They come back to the Summer Split. Hey, they're still in second place. They carry the record forward. And you had to believe they had a chance there. The early game looked good. They were fighting back against Baron and Dragon Soul, and wasn't enough.
I'm just so glad that all of the pros I was talking to, all of the scrim info, promising really exciting solo lanes and crazy team fights, actually showed up on stage.
Yeah.
It actually delivered. We got, Viego dive comps. We got all this, crazy stuff coming out. Yes, Gwen was banned. I'm still, fingers crossed that she gets through one time, but that was a great way to start.
It absolutely was. How many times have you been lied to by the pros? It's like, we're going to get assassins in the mid lane. It's Oriana's head point.
Woo! Well, we are back. It's been fun. And don't worry, we've got 4 more hours of the same. Yes! I'm excited to be here talking about this one now as part of the summer kickoff. It'll scroll and I'll read the rest of it later. All right, as part of the summer kickoff, the LCS excited to be working with BMG as our music partner. BMG will be supporting the LCS in spotlighting new artists and song releases, the first of which is Flay's TGIF featured in our Ruled by One video. Check out the full song while we take a break.
The world is run by lunatics, so who gives a Let's light it up, let's make a mess, let's coalesce, let's make a fuss. The world is filled with psychopaths, so I wanna jink, I wanna fight, I wanna rage against the machine. They told me I can't be myself, run myself, so I can be. I'm unique, and I do it 7 days of the week. I'm feeling free, but the world, it wanna keep me down. See, I'm a king, I won't let anybody take my crown. God, it's Friday, and I'm feeling alive. I'll do it my way, till the day that I die. Thank God it's Friday, and I'm getting some love.
Middle fingers up till the Reaper shows up. Yeah.
The world is owned by maniacs, so I'm making art, I'm going hard, I'm taking names, acting insane, breaking guitars. The world, it don't take prisoners, so I'm going wild, I'm acting up, cause I got sick of taking my swallow. Lost in the mosh pit, coughing, wanna call God, but he's out of the office. Clickbait shots till we all get nauseous. Amazon boxes looking like coffins, I'm exhausted, but I ain't there yet. Life's a dog fight, baby, come and place your best. God, it's Friday, and I'm feeling alive. I'll do it my way, till the day that I die. Thank God it's Friday, and I'm getting some love.
Middle fingers up till the Reaper shows up. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. This time we're in studio. Power of Evil, it's good to have you back, not just here in the LCS, but also on stage. How's it feel to be back here and playing?
It has been insane. Honestly, what a start to the season. Instantly with like a crazy close game. It was really hype.
Did you expect it to be that close coming in?
I expected TL to put up a good fight. I think last time around they won against us in the third place match, or like the way to the finals. But I think we've been doing pretty good in scrims, and I think we have been improving a lot throughout the season. So I was pretty confident going into the match. And after the early game, I thought we had it in the back. Took a little while, but we got it in the end.
Right, and so tell me about that, of course, because Viego, a champion we haven't seen ever on the LCS stage for a variety of reasons. What was the reasoning for taking that here up against the Silas?
Well, so in the early game, you could see the advantage of Viego is that normally you always have to push against the Silas. I shoved him into the turret a lot of times, and we even attempted the early tower dive on him, which I think he did a good job at avoiding. And from that point on, you normally have a pretty good control in team fights. You try to get that one reset, and I think you could see that on the top lane. When I got that one reset, I just kill. And I think that's kind of like Viego. He's like Katarina, but a little more fun.
A little more fun, yeah. Is there anything specifically in the 1v1 matchup, though, why you would want this champion kind of as a counter pick?
Well, I feel like at any point in the game, you just win the 1v1, so you never need to be worried about the side lane, and your items just match up really well against Silas items. So you can go for the Blade of Ruined King, or you can lay down about the Spirit Visage to even get more healing. So I feel like your item set is really good against him.
Right, and then of course, things got a little tricky, let's say, as the game went on. How are you feeling in that bottom lane team fight where you guys got ace despite trying to win the game with the Baron buff?
Honestly, I felt like I'm really proud of how we played this game out, because you could really see around the second and third dragon, they outranged us a ton, and we did a really good job at these objective fights to keep securing them. We got every Baron, we got like this Dragon Soul, we got the Elders, and we always, I would say, like won out at these objective fights by, like using the objective even as like a shield against the Azrael, because the Azrael was like just outranging us way too hard with the Karma. So we needed to permanently make them engage into us, and at the very end, when we are strong enough, we engaged on them, instantly backed out, and we would just use our ultimates to like get objectives like the turrets, right? And you could see that on bot lane we were a little bit overconfident, we went a little bit too deep, and it bit us back.
All right, well, last one. It's a very long season, right? It's the first time we've carried the records over, but we're now resetting here in the summer. How are you feeling about you and the rest of the squad kind of moving through the end of summer?
Well, we have a pretty good advantage now, starting on the top of the win-loss ratio, and obviously it's one of the best feelings to start the season with a victory, and if it's like such a hype game as well. So hopefully we can, transition that to the next 2 days and, win against EG and GGS.
All right, well, hopefully more Viego. Power of Evil, thank you so much for talking to me. All right, we are going to go to a break, but don't go too far away. When we return, we're going to see the new face of Evil. Don't go too far.